Hello friends, welcome to Affairs Cloud Learn to Lead. This is Ashu and today we will discuss very important current affairs of 15th and 16th of August 2021. You can see two best images of the day, but today we will discuss very important and the most important current affairs. So watch this video till last. But I am requesting you all the students that you can download our application from the description box link, and name of the application is Careers Cloud. After downloading, you can log in with your email ID, and after login, you can click on this crack current affairs section to subscribe our current affairs for 1 year as well as for 2 years. Both the subscription prices are very much low. If you see the price, you will definitely surprise. But the most important thing that we are covering 90 to 95% of that current affair which can come in your exam. This is the genuinity, this is the hard work of Affairs Cloud team. But how we are covering this current affair? We are providing you daily section. In the daily section, you will receive three things. One is the detailed current affair, question and answer format, and the quiz section. It means you can attempt this quiz on our application on daily basis. Next is the weekly section. Again, we are providing three things. One is the detailed current affair, second is the question and answer format, third is the quiz section which you can attempt on our application on weekly basis. The most important section is the monthly, and we are providing four type of PDFs. One is the detailed current affair, second question and answer format of current affair, third is the best 100 current affair, that is also provided in the form of question and answer, and fourth one is the pocket PDF. It means the 2-liner and the 3-liners current affair will be provided to you so that you can revise the current affair in quick format before your exam. But to enhance your performance further, we are also providing topic-wise current affair. We are covering 20 most important topics which are very important for every type of exam. If you want to cover all the news related to one topic just from single PDF, then you can use these topic-wise PDFs. And if you are a banking student, then we are providing three things. One is detail, second is the question and answer format of current affairs only related to banking and economy, and third is the quiz section which you can attempt on our application, that is also provided only for the banking and economy, and that can be assessed on application on monthly basis. And if you want to cover all the past current affair of 2021 just from single PDF, then you can use this exam PDF. And guys, we are providing detailed budget and economic survey, and also we are providing expected question and answer which examiner can ask from budget and economic survey. If you are appearing for your respective state exam, then we are providing state current affair. And guys, the most important thing that we are covering every state and union territory. So all these things comes under just one subscription. You don't have to buy every subscription differently. You have to just download our application Careers Cloud. You have to log in with your email ID, and you can click on this crack current affair section to subscribe our current affairs for 1 year as well as for 2 years. And guys, if you are a new student and if you are just starting the current affair, then you can buy these current affair for 2 years. And guys, we are also providing you very important sale, and this sale is basically freedom sale. Today is the last date, that is 16th of August, to avail this sale. We are providing maximum discount. This is 70% discount. So remember, and on that sale, we are also providing 10% extra discount if you use this code ASH10. And guys, if you have any query, you can email us on this number or you can call us on this number. And guys, let's start today's current affair 15th and 16th of August 2021. But remember, this is freedom sale and we are providing 70% discount, and the last date to avail this offer is 16th of August. So hurry and grab this offer. So let's start today's session with the most important question section. But you have to like this video, share this video as maximum as possible, and please subscribe this channel if you are new on this platform, and join our Telegram group from the description box link. And here is the first question. Who becomes India's 69th chess grandmaster? So guys, remember, chess grandmaster, and I think all the students know that who was the first India's grandmaster, and this was Vishwanathan Anand. But now we are talking about 69th chess grandmaster. Answer of this question is very simple. It is Harshit Raja. So answer of this question is D. So he is just 20 years old, and he belongs to which state? He belongs to Maharashtra. So 20-year-old Harshit Raja from Pune, Maharashtra, become the 69th chess grandmaster of India after drawing his game against Dennis Wagner. You don't have to remember the opposite name, but you have to just remember Harshit Raja, and he belongs to Maharashtra. He is just 20 years old and he is India's 69th chess grandmaster. You can also see here the name Arjun Kalyan. He was the 68th chess grandmaster of India. You can also remember about Arjun Kalyan. Harshit Raja belongs to Pune, Maharashtra, 69th chess grandmaster. He also won the silver in the under 13 National Chess Championship in 2014 held in Jamshedpur. He also won the gold in the School Games Federation of India Nationals held in Tamil Nadu in 2014 as well. And Grandmaster is a title afterward, or you can say awarded by the FIDE, or it is International Chess Federation. and it is the highest title a chess player can obtain apart from the world champion. And in April 2021, 18 years old Arjun Kalyan, you have to remember this name, he was the 68th grandmaster. So remember 69th and 68, these are two important. And who was the first grandmaster? It was the Vishwanathan Anand. I am talking about which year? I am talking about 1988. And guys, remember the first woman grandmaster, and she was Subraman Vijay Lakshmi. Subraman Vijay Lakshmi. She was first India's woman grandmaster. And guys, remember the name Gukesh D. Again, very important. Gukesh D is the India's youngest grandmaster. So one is the youngest grandmaster, first woman grandmaster, and first men grandmaster is Vishwanathan Anand. And you can also remember one organization, that is FIDE. FIDE stands for International Chess Federation. Headquarter is in Lausanne. Lausanne is in Switzerland. Moving to next question. India's first of its kind drone forensic lab and research center inaugurated in which state? Again, very important question, guys. And this forensic lab, or you can say research center, is only for the drone, or you can say the unmanned aerial vehicles, and it is the first time it is inaugurated in one of the state, and this state is Kerala. Exact place is Thiruvananthapuram, and this is launched by Chief Minister of Kerala. Chief Minister of Kerala is Pinarayi Vijayan. So you can remember the name of Chief Minister. And you can also see this, Kerala Police comes up with the country's first drone forensic lab and the research center, and it was launched by State Police of Kerala. Examiner can ask or confuse you with the name of the police. So remember, the state is Kerala. And the lab cum research center will address the rising security threats aspects of their own, and will also look at the utility part of the unmanned aerial vehicles after especially the attack of the Jammu and Kashmir airport by the drones. So this is very new kind of thing for India. And there are anti-national forces that are using drones for various destructive activities. I already covered, like Jammu and Kashmir Air Base, including spying, smuggling and the terrorism. And Kerala Police is also planning to develop an anti-drone system. So this is again will become the first state, like Jammu and Kashmir. Ladakh is also using the anti-drone system. Now Kerala Police will also use the anti-drone system. They are just planning now. And guys, remember about Kerala, Chief Minister is Pinarayi Vijayan and Governor is Arif Muhammad Khan. Arif Muhammad Khan. And very important national parks are there, like Idukki National Park is there, Silent Valley National Park is there, Iravikulam National Park is there, again very important. One is you can say Pempadam Shola National Park, that is also in Kerala. Idukki, Silent Valley, Iravikulam, and one is Anamudi. Anamudi Tiger Reserve is also in there. So Anamudi is also the highest peak of the western coast. You can also remember this, and it is also situated in Kerala. Moving to next question. Which state became the first Indian state to recognize community forest resource right? So the main keyword here is the community forest resource right, and this state is Chhattisgarh. And this state is the first state from India who provided or who recognized this community forest resource rights. And guys, you can see here Chhattisgarh is the first state to recognize community forest resource right. And what do you mean by this resource right? You can see this. The state recognized forest right for 3 wards. You don't have to remember the name of the 3 wards. It gives the right to protect, regenerate or conserve or manage any community forest resource which the people from tribal communities have been traditionally protecting and conserving for sustainable use. Like on the occasion of International Day of Words Indigenously People Day, we already covered, which was celebrated on 9th of August 2021, the Chief Minister of Chhattisgarh, Bhupesh Baghel, recognized community forest resource right in an urban area and making it the first state in India to do so. In simple word, you can say that, for example, you can say presently in Chhattisgarh, the villagers were not even allowed to pick tendu leaves. Tendu leaves. A forest produce basically in the core areas of the tiger reserve. Now, with the recognition of these rights, or you can say with this recognition, they can be allowed in the forest falling within their traditional boundaries, and they can pick or collect these tendu leaves. This is the right. This is very simple example. And tribals account for more than 31% in Chhattisgarh. This is again very important. And it comes under which act? It comes under the Forest Right Acts of 2006. You can also remember this. But guys, remember about Chhattisgarh. Chhattisgarh Chief Minister is Bhupesh Baghel and Governor is Anusuya Uike. You can remember Anusuya Uike. And a very important national park is there. Indravati National Park is also there. Indravati. Next is Kangher Valley National Park is there. Guru Ghasidas National Park is also there. So remember these three national parks in Chhattisgarh. Moving to next section. It is a very important question section, guys. You have to like this video, share this video as maximum as possible, and you have to subscribe this channel if you are new on this platform. And guys, please join our Telegram group from the description box link, and you can avail maximum discount today because today is the last day to avail this offer. This is the 16th of August and we are providing freedom sale and we are providing 70% discount. This is the maximum we can offer. And guys, you can grab this offer only today because 16 is the last date. So grab and hurry. Recently, which wetland was added under the Ramsar list? Again, very important. If we are talking about the Ramsar sites are the wetlands on the international importance that have been designated under the criteria of the Ramsar Convention on the wetland. And recently, India added 4 wetlands. So guys, remember, answer of this question is all of these. Very simple question and very important question. You have to remember all these 4 wetlands which was added as the Ramsar sites recently. One is the Thol Lake. Remember, Thol Lake Wildlife Sanctuary. It is situated in Gujarat. Next is Vadhwana wetland. It is also situated in Gujarat. Very important. Sultanpur National Park is in Haryana. And next is Bindavas Wildlife Sanctuary, that is also in Haryana. It is specifically in Jajjar area of Haryana. So you can remember 2 from the Haryana and 2 from the Gujarat. So Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change announced the addition of 4 more wetlands from India, 2 each from Gujarat and 2 from Haryana in the Convention on the Wetlands of the International Importance or the Ramsar Convention. So you can remember all the 4 wetlands. These are very, very important. So 4 more sites of India added to the Ramsar list as wetlands of the international importance. And now total number of Ramsar sites in India are 46. Remember, total are 46 including these 4. And Haryana got its first Ramsar site. Remember, Haryana got its first Ramsar site and Gujarat total sites counted reached to 3. Earlier, Gujarat has only one like Nal Sarovar, only one. Now Gujarat added 2. One is, you can say, the Thol Lake Wildlife Sanctuary. Second is Vadhwana wetland, that is also in Gujarat. The Ramsar Convention on the Wetland is an intergovernmental treaty that was recognized by the United Nations and be registered with the United Nations. You can remember this. And the convention was adopted in the Iranian city that is known as Ramsar. So Ramsar is name of a Iran city. In 1971, this resolution was adopted and it came into force in 1975. And objective of the Ramsar Convention, you can say, it is to develop and maintain an international network of wetlands which are important for the conservation of the global biological diversity. And you can also remember that World Wetland Day was observed on which day? It was observed on 2nd of February every year. Remember, 2nd of February every year observed as the World Wetland Day. And what is the theme of the, this year, like 2021? Wetland and water. Wetland and water. This is the theme. And guys, recent related news, you have to remember 2 sites from India were added to the World Heritage List. This is again very important. World Heritage List, or you can say UNESCO World Heritage List. One is the, you can say, Kakatiya Rudraeshwara or Ramappa temple that is situated in Telangana. And next is Dholavira Hadappan site that is situated in Gujarat. These 2 sites are recently added under the World Heritage Site, and Kakatiya Rudraeshwara basically added in the cultural heritage. So guys, you can remember this is again very, very important question, and we covered this question 2 times, most importantly this Ramsar sites and the World Heritage List site. So remember this. Now we are moving to the next question. Which state pollution control board has been ranked first in the Transparency Index? So guys, you have to remember this Transparency Index. This Transparency Index is basically released by Center for Science and Environment. It is a Delhi-based non-profit organization, and according to this index, the State Pollution Control Board of Telangana as well as Odisha ranked on the first position. So answer of this question is both B and C. So you can see here, Odisha and Telangana pollution control boards ranked best in the Transparency Index. But this index is released by Center for Science and Environment. You can just remember this, it is not so much important. It is one of the Delhi-based non-profit organization. And the report assessed 25 indicators of the data disclosure performance of 29 state pollution control boards and 6 pollution control committees from across India during the period of 2016 to 21. It means 5 years. So you can just remember the State Pollution Control Board of Odisha as well as Telangana have ranked first in the Transparency Index, which is released by Center for Science and Environment. And the report aims to encourage, you can say, State Pollution Control Board and this pollution control committees to disclose their information in the public domain. Only 17 pollution control board as well as you can say this pollution control committees have secured 50% or above in the transparency. So the most important thing under this question is the name of the state, or you can say name of the State Pollution Control Board. Recent related news you have to remember, in the State of India's Environment Report 2021, which was released by again Center for Science and Environment, India ranked has dropped by 2 places. Earlier India's rank was 115, now India's rank is 117 on the 17 Sustainable Development Goals, which were released in 2015, which we have to achieve by the year of 2030. So India is very much behind if we are comparing the sustainable development goals with the other countries. India's rank is 117, especially the environmental goals. So you have to remember the rank is 117. Now we are moving to the next question. Which day was declared as the Partition Horrors Remembrance Day by Narendra Modi? It was recently announced by Narendra Modi and our Honorable Prime Minister, basically. Partition Horrors Remembrance Day. And Prime Minister Narendra Modi declared this day, 14th of August, as the Partition Horrors Remembrance Day to acknowledge the difficulties faced by the Indians during the partition of 1947. There was, you can say, so much violence between Hindus and Muslims. So that's why this day is observed as the Partition Horrors Remembrance Day. So 14th of August. So you can also see here the day aims to remind the people that hatred and violence is never a solution and inspire them to work towards a social harmony and sensitivity. And the 14th of August is also celebrated as the Independence Day in Pakistan. Now we are celebrating as the Partition Horror Remembrance Day on the same day. And 14th of August 2021 is the first ever Partition Horrors Remembrance Day. And guys, you can also remember RSS, that is Rashtriya Swam Sevak Sangh, the mentor of the BJP, observed 14th August as the Akhand Bharat Divas or Unified India. Unified India. So RSS celebrate 14th August as the Unified India. Pakistan celebrated as Independence Day, but we are celebrating it as a Partition Horrors Remembrance Day. So just remember, it is one-liner question. You can just remember as in slide. Moving to next question. Which country has the current chair of the IBSA Academic Forum 2021? But the most important thing here is this organization, which is known as India, Brazil and South Africa. It means 3 countries are member of this organization. So out of these 3 countries, India has the current chairman of this forum, which is known as IBSA Academic Forum 2021. So answer of this question is A. So you can see here from Indian side, it is attended by, or it is addressed by External Affairs Minister of State. It is Rajkumar Rajan Singh, and he inaugurated basically 7th IBSA Academic Forum, and it was held on the date of 11th and 12th of August 2021. And India specially highlighted the efforts taken under the ongoing IBSA Fellowship Program. And the forum was inaugurated by Minister of State of External Affairs. You have to remember the name, Rajkumar Rajan Singh. India organized IBSA Tourism Ministers meeting also in 2021. And guys, remember the minister, like you can say Rajkumar Rajan Singh, also underlined the contribution of IBSA fund since its inception. And you can also remember about this organization because this is very important under this question. IBSA act as the forum for India, like Brazil and South Africa, to promote cooperation between 3 countries. And it was formalized and named the IBSA Forum in the year of 2003 when the foreign ministers of the 3 countries met in Brasilia, or capital of Brazil. India is the current chairman of the IBSA chair is to convene the 6th IBSA summit in September 2021. And what is the theme of this forum? Theme of this forum is Democracy for Demography and Development. So triple D you have to remember. Democracy for Demography and Development. And guys, remember, India organized IBSA Tourism Ministers meeting. This is again very important thing you have to remember. And guys, remember, Minister of Tourism of India, Minister for Tourism of India is Shri G. Kishan Reddy. G. Kishan Reddy. So again, 2 ministers you are basically learn from this news, and it is very important, and this forum is very important. Moving to next question. A book titled Ram Rao, The Story of India's Farm Crisis, authored by whom? Again, one of the very important book. It is related to currently ongoing farm bills, and it is specially a hypothetical story, and it is a story of Ram Rao, which belongs to you can say very poor family, and the book tracks the life of Rama Rao, who survived after consuming pesticide in 2014 over a period of 7 years since he attempted suicide. So guys, this book is written by very famous person, and he named as Jaideep Hardikar. So answer of this question is B. So you can also see here the cover page. This is Ramarao and Ram Rao, the story of India's farm crisis, and it is written by Jaideep Hardikar. So guys, remember, it features the biography of Ram Rao, a cotton farmer from the Vidarbha, Maharashtra, because cotton producing state is Maharashtra. The book is published by HarperCollins India. It is not so much important, but remember, the book tracks the life of Ram Rao, who survived after consuming the pesticide in 2014 over a period of 7 years since he attempted suicide. So just remember the name of the book or the author. Moving to next question. Credit B, in partnership with RuPay, and which bank launched a virtual prepaid card named as Credit B card? So you have to remember the name of the company. It is Credit B. It is the digital lending platform, and this company partnership with RuPay card as well as the RBL Bank. The answer of this question is C, and launched a virtual prepaid card which is known as Credit B card. And you can also see here Credit B launches Credit B card, a new age card for New India, especially for the, you can say, especially to uplift the people. And under this card, the customers could avail credit limit of up to rupees 10,000. It means 10,000 rupees can be availed under this card, which can be repaid in a single billing cycle within the 45 days without any interest. No interest will be charged for 45 days, and you can return maximum to maximum 10,000 rupees because you can avail only 10,000 rupees. So the main objective is to provide the unserved and underserved banking customers with an access to short-term liquidity with multiple repayment option. And the virtual card or the e-card could be generated on the Credit B application immediately through the artificial intelligence driven underwriting process, and it enables the customers to make instant transactions and upgrade their credit limit within a single billing cycle. The card offers versatility and flexibility in terms of the ticket size and repayment option, and Credit B intends to offer 1 million cards. This is the target, 1 million cards by the end of financial year of 2022, or you can say till March 2022. And the card launch will increase the penetration of the RuPay cards in India because it is an integration of the RuPay. So that's why you have to remember. So otherwise nothing important under this question. You can just remember it is RBL Bank, it is Credit B, and it is RuPay. Now we are moving to next question. According to new rules like Plastic Waste Management Amendment Rules of 2021, single-use plastic items will be prohibited by which year? So guys, remember, answer of this question is 2022, and exact date is 1st of July 2022. Answer is B. So these new rules are notified by the Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change, prohibiting the identified single-use plastic items with low utility and high littering potential with effect from 1st of July 2022. Exact date is 1st of July. And the manufacturer, importer, stocking, distribution, sale and use of single-use plastic including polystyrene and expanded polystyrene commodities is prohibited. And with effect from the 30th of September 2021, the thickness of the plastic carry bag has been increased from 50 microns to 75 microns. And from 31st of December 2022, it will be increased to 120 microns. So the thickness you can say will be increased of the plastic bags, and now it is 75 microns from September 30th 2021, but from the 31st of December 2022 it will be 120 microns. And guys, remember, these rules are formulated on the lines of Prime Minister Narendra Modi call to phase out single-use plastic by the year of 2022 in order to tackle the adverse impacts of littered plastic on the both terrestrial as well as aquatic system, especially for the aquatic ecosystem. So you have to remember, just simple question, you have to just remember the question as in slide. And guys, remember who is currently the Union Minister of Environment, Forest and Climate Change. It is Bhupender Yadav. Remember this. Moving to next question. Which country will be the partner country for International Climate Summit 2021? Again, very important question. Which country will be the partner country for International Climate Summit 2021? Because this summit will be hosted by India. And guys, remember the partner country will Norway. So answer of this question is C. So you can see here PhD Chamber of Commerce and Industry and Invest India joins hand with the International Climate Summit 2021 as a co-organizer. It means Invest India, the National Investment Promotion and Facilitation Agency of the Government of India, has joined the International Climate Summit 2021 as the co-organizer. Because this International Climate Summit 2021 is an initiative of PhD Chamber of Commerce and Industry Environment Committee, but now Invest India will also support this. And it is scheduled to be held in September 2021. It is again very important. The summit will be help in building a platform for the India's transition to clean energy with the focus on powering India's hydrogen ecosystem. And even this International Climate Summit 2021 is supported by the government of Norway as the partner country. Even 40 leading organizations also participating, like Reliance India Limited is also participating, Hindustan Zinc Limited is also participating, ONGC is there, Indian Oil Corporation is there, GAIL is Gas Authority of India Limited is there. So all the organization will act as the sponsors of this summit. And this summit will position India as the leader in the field of the renewable energy, specifically green hydrogen, because we have a target like 175 gigawatt by the year of 2022 and 450 gigawatt by the year of 2030, and we achieved till date 100 gigawatt excluding the hydropower. So you can just remember this. And remember, PhD Chamber of Commerce and Industry, it is situated in New Delhi. You don't have to remember this thing, but remember about Invest India. This is important. Invest India MD and CEO is Deepak Bagla. And guys, remember, headquarters is in New Delhi. Moving to next question. Which bank made a partnership with ODEX India Solution to introduce ODX Pay Later solutions to freight forwarders in shipping industry? It is for the specially shipping industry. It means you can avail the loan, you can take money and you can pay later. And this is provided by ODEX and one bank, and name of this one bank is DBS Bank. So answer of this question is B. So in simple word, you can say that DBS Bank India made a partnership with ODEX India Solutions Private Limited to introduce ODEX Pay Later solutions powered by DBS to provide credit solution to the freight forwarders. And it is very important, guys, because generally the freight or the cargo forwarders will receive payment from their customers, including importers as well as exporters, only after the service completion. And but they need to pay shipping lines, port terminals, container freight stations and other stakeholders before getting their payments to clear the cargo on time. So this condition has affected the working capital of the freight forwarders. Thus, to overcome this, DBS has designed end-to-end digital financing solution to ease the overall payment process. Now they can take the money from the DBS bank and they can give this money to the port terminal, to the shipping lines, to the container freight stations, and they can pay later to the DBS bank when they receive the money after the service completion. So ODEX Pay Later solution will allow freight forwarders to make direct payments to the ship liners. And even you can say the main objective is to enable ODEX customer to assess comprehensive payment and financing solution for all their ocean shipping transactions. And there is one eligibility. To avail this ODEX Pay Later solution, the customers need to have associated with ODEX for like you can say for a period of minimum 1 year and located near a DBS Bank India asset branch like Mumbai, Surat. So these are the asset branch of the DBS. So one condition is attached with the ODEX just for minimum to minimum 1 year. Next is located near DBS Bank India Small and Medium Enterprises Asset Branch. So these are just two conditions you have to remember. And businesses with a turnover of like 3 crore rupees to 200 crore rupees have completed over 5 years in the same industry are eligible to avail unsecured loan of like 50 lakh rupees. 50 lakh rupees. And you can also remember about recent related news. This is also about DBS. DBS tops the Forbes list of the world's best bank 2021 in India. This is again very important. So remember this. Now we are moving to the next question. And guys, just remember these things. These are very important. Now next is former India Under-19 World Cup winner Unmukt Chand retires from Indian cricket. So this is very big news because very famous player. He is very famous player and he was Under-19 captain and he won the World Cup in 2012, Under-19 Team World Cup 2012, which was held in Australia. And this Unmukt Chand is set to play in now the USA Super League, or you can say USA's Major Super League cricket. He has signed a 3-year contract with Major League Cricket in the United States of America. And you can just remember about Unmukh Chand has written his memories of the Under 19 Cricket World Cup. The name of the memory book is The Sky is the Limit. Remember, The Sky is the Limit, and this was written in 2013 because he won Under 19 World Cup in 2012, which was held in Australia. So remember about Unmukh Chand. Now we are moving to next question. It is from our important question section, guys. You have to like this video, share this video as maximum as possible, and please subscribe this channel if you're new on this platform. And guys, join our Telegram group from the description box link. And a freedom sale is currently going on, so you can avail maximum to maximum discount. This is 70% discount we are offering. And guys, last date to avail this offer is 16th of August. So remember, you can just avail this offer only for today. Who launched campaign? This is hashtag follow payment distancing to promote contactless payment. Very important, guys. In August 2021, the National Payment Corporation of India announced the launch of this platform or this campaign, which is known as hashtag follow payment distancing, but it is with the help of the RuPay card. So answer of this question is RuPay. So the main objective is to promote and encourage the contactless payments among customers in the unpredictable times like COVID-19. And guys, you can also see here this campaign was launched on social media platforms and the digital channels to emphasize on the payment distancing or to promote the contactless payment as the key measure. And it urges people to break the chain and to follow campaign like hashtag follow payment distancing with RuPay contactless card. The campaign will educate the merchants and consumers about the benefits of using contactless payment, and it is to promote and encourage contactless payment among the customers in unpredictable times like COVID-19 and or you can say during this pandemic. And remember about NPCI because the main organization who launched this campaign is NPCI. NPCI, you can say it was launched in 2008. Its headquarters is in Mumbai and its MD and CEO is Dilip Asbe. Remember this. Moving to next question, and it is from one-liner points, and first one-liner point, but you have to change the color so that you can see. Invest India becomes co-organizer of International Climate Summit. We already covered this point that India is currently the chairman of International Climate Summit 2021. Next is Competition Commission of India approved the acquisition of 9.3% stake in the Grofers India Hot or HOT by Zomato. So you have to just remember, this is not so much important, but Competition Commission of India has approved acquisition of 9.3% stake in each of the Grofers India Private Limited and Hands on Trade. HOT stands for Hands on Trade Private Limited by Zomato Limited or Zomato. Zomato has invested around 745 crore rupees to acquire just like 9.3% of the minority stake in Grofers to have more exposure to the online grocery segment because Grofer is a online grocery segment. So remember about Zomato. Zomato is important here. Its founder and CEO is Dipender Goyal. Headquarters is in Gurugram, and it was started in 2010. Next, World Pre-Diabetes Day, 14th of August 2021. It is observed every year. And guys, remember what is pre-diabetes? Pre-diabetes is a health condition where blood sugar levels are higher than normal, but not high enough to be diagnosed as a type 2 or a lifestyle-induced diabetes. So it is every year observed on 14th of August, but this year it was started. So it means first time it is celebrated or observed on the 14th of August 2021. So the day aims to create awareness about the pre-diabetes and to reduce the increasing rate of diabetes. Why 14th August is selected? Because World Pre-Diabetes has been strategically chosen 90 days before the World Diabetes Day. World Diabetes Day every year observed on the 14th of November. So before 90 days it is observed. Since scientifically, if you say it takes 90 days to change the lifestyle to reverse pre-diabetes and prevent progression to diabetes. So that's why it is observed on the 14th of August. So pre-diabetes observed on the 14th of August and Diabetes Day observed on the 14th of November. Next is Beam signed MOU with the FDRVC to avail e-sport market platform to the farmers producer organization. So Beam is very important. Beam is Bombay Stock Exchange Agriculture E-Market Limited. It is a fully owned subsidiary of Bombay Stock Exchange, has signed a memorandum of understanding with the Foundation for Development of the Rural Value Chain to strengthen the price discovery mechanism of the commodities traded by the farmers producer organization. But you have to just remember about the Beam. Beam platform was launched by Bombay Stock Exchange in 2020. Nothing important under this question. RBI issues draft proposal to liberalize overseas investment norms. Again, very important question because Reserve Bank of India has issued two draft documentation. One is Foreign Exchange Management, Non-Debt Instruments Rules 2021, Second is Foreign Exchange Management Overseas Investment Regulation 2021. The main objective is to liberalize the regulatory framework of overseas investment and promote ease of doing business. Again, not important. Question cannot be framed from this line. Next, Prime Minister released capitalization support fund for 1625 crore to the 4 lakh self-help groups. Again, it is not important because Prime Minister Narendra Modi virtually participated in the Atmanirbhar Nari Shakti Se Samvad, where he interacted with the women self-help groups members and the communities resource persons promoted under the Deen Dayal Annatodaya Yojana or DAY National Rural Livelihood Mission. So during this event, he released capitalization support fund of almost 1625 crore rupees to over 4 lakh self-help groups as a major financial support to increase the scope of entrepreneurship among the women on the lines of Atmanirbhar Bharat. So again, the question cannot be framed. You can just remember the fund amount, total 1625 crore. Now we are moving to the question of the 14th of August 2021. What was the question? In context with the banking, what is the correct full form of ADF? Again, very important question, but very simple question. ADF, guys, stands for Automated Data Flow. So remember, Automated Data Flow. And this term belongs to banking parlance, and Reserve Bank of India initiate this automated data flow. So it is initiated by RBI, and it aimed at the purpose of meeting the needs of accurate and consistent flow of data. That's why it is known as automated data flow. So remember, ADF abbreviation is important. Now moving to the question of the day, very simple question. Which among the following was the main objective of the Fiscal Responsibility and Budget Management Act of 2003? Budget Management Act of 3. So guys, remember these options, read these options carefully, and you can answer in very simple language in the comment box. So guys, I am waiting your answer. Please like this video, please share this video as maximum as possible, and please subscribe this channel if you are new on this platform. I am waiting your answer and I am waiting your response. Please do these 3 things because these are the motivation. And guys, press this bell button and join a Telegram group for the further notification, and it is Affairs Cloud promise that it will boost your confidence in the general awareness section, definitely. And guys, you can avail our PDFs at very nominal cost, like for 1 year as well as for 2 years. But we are providing very much discount, like 70% discount under the freedom sale. This is the last day. Today is the last day, like 16th of August is the last day to avail this offer. And you can get 10% extra discount if you use this code ASH10. And guys, don't take life so much serious. Life is fun. Always be happy like this smiley. Thank you guys. Take care and bye-bye.